What if the most valuable thing you own right now is not your money or your memories, but your time? After 60, time begins to feel different. It no longer stretches endlessly into the future. It becomes precious, delicate, limited. And yet, many people spend these years distracted, worrying about things that no longer matter, carrying emotional weight they no longer need, or giving their time to people, habits, and regrets that quietly drain their peace. Buddhism offers a gentle but powerful reminder. When time is limited, clarity becomes possible. This stage of life is not about rushing. It is not about fixing everything from the past. And it is not about proving anything to anyone. It is about using your time wisely by focusing only on what truly matters. This video is an invitation to slow down, to listen deeply, to let ancient Buddhist wisdom guide you toward a life that feels lighter, calmer, and more meaningful. These are 6 Buddhist lessons for using your remaining time with intention, dignity, and peace. Not by doing more, but by doing less of what drains you and more of what frees you. Listen gently. Let these words meet you where you are. This is not a lecture. It is a quiet conversation with your inner wisdom. Let us begin. Lesson 1. Time is limited. Stop spending it on what drains you. One of the most honest truths Buddhism offers is this: life is impermanent. Time does not return. When you are younger, time feels forgiving. You believe you can waste it and recover later. But after 60, something shifts inside you. You begin to feel deeply that every day carries weight, and yet many people continue to give their time to things that exhaust them. Unnecessary arguments, obligations rooted in guilt, relationships that demand more than they give, mental habits that replay regret again and again. Buddhism teaches that how you spend your time is how you spend your life. Time wasted on resentment becomes suffering. Time spent pleasing others becomes self-abandonment. Time spent worrying becomes fear repeated. The Buddha never taught urgency, but he did teach awareness. And awareness begins with one gentle question: is this worth my remaining time? Not everything deserves access to your energy anymore. Not every opinion requires your response. Not every problem is yours to solve. This is not selfishness. This is wisdom. After 60, your time becomes sacred. It deserves protection. Think of your time as a bowl of clear water. Every draining activity drops dirt into it. Every unnecessary obligation clouds it further. Eventually, you can no longer see clearly. Letting go is how the water clears again. You are allowed to leave conversations that feel heavy. You are allowed to stop explaining yourself. You are allowed to rest without justification. Buddhism reminds us that suffering often comes not from pain itself, but from continuing to touch what hurts us. Ask yourself quietly, what do I do out of habit, not meaning? What drains me but no longer serves my heart? Where am I spending time without presence? Releasing what drains you does not mean your life becomes smaller. It becomes lighter. When you stop spending time on what exhausts you, you make room for stillness, for peace, for moments that feel complete. Time is limited. Do not give it away to things that leave you empty. Give it to what nourishes you instead. Lesson 2. Simplify your life. Peace lives in less, not more. After 60, life begins to whisper a quiet truth. You do not need more. You need less. Less noise, less clutter, less emotional weight. Buddhism teaches that complexity feeds restlessness, while simplicity feeds peace. For much of life, we accumulate possessions, responsibilities, roles, expectations. We believe more will make us secure, but eventually more becomes heavy. More to manage, more to worry about, more to lose. Simplicity is not about deprivation, it is about freedom. When you simplify your outer life, your inner life breathes again. Look around you. Objects you no longer use, commitments you no longer enjoy, routines that once served you but now exhaust you. Each one quietly asks for your time. Buddhism teaches mindful renunciation, not forcing things away, but gently releasing what no longer aligns with your present self. You are not the person you were at 30 or 40. Your needs have changed, your values have matured, and that is not loss, that is evolution. Simplifying means asking, does this add peace to my life? Does this support my well-being? Does this reflect who I am now? If the answer is no, you are allowed to let it go. A simpler life creates space for what truly matters. Quiet mornings, unhurried meals, meaningful conversations, time to reflect, time to rest. In Buddhism, contentment is a form of wealth. A person who needs little is rich, regardless of possessions. When your life becomes simpler, your time expands. Moments feel fuller, days feel less rushed. Your mind becomes less crowded. You begin to notice small joys again, the warmth of sunlight, the rhythm of your breath, the comfort of silence. Simplicity returns you to yourself. After 60, you no longer need to prove your worth through busyness. Your presence is enough. Your awareness is enough. Let your life become gentle. Let it become spacious. Peace does not arrive through accumulation. It arrives through release. Lesson 3. Be fully present. Time is only real in this moment. One of the greatest misunderstandings about time is believing it exists in the past or future. Buddhism teaches something quietly liberating. The past is memory, the future is imagination, and only this moment is real. After 60, this teaching becomes especially important because the mind often drifts backward, replaying choices, missed opportunities, and versions of yourself that no longer exist. Or it drifts forward, worrying about health, uncertainty, or how much time remains. Both directions steal what little time truly belongs to you. Presence is not about forcing positivity or pretending everything is fine. It is about allowing each moment to exist without resistance. When you are present, time stops being something you chase or fear. It becomes something you inhabit. The Buddha taught that suffering increases when the mind refuses to stay where the body is. When the body is here, but the mind is elsewhere, life feels incomplete. After 60, presence becomes a form of wisdom. You no longer need to rush through experiences. You are allowed to move slowly, to notice details, to savor what is simple. When you drink tea, just drink tea. When you walk, feel the ground beneath you. When you sit, allow yourself to sit without planning the next thing. These small acts return you to life. The world trains us to divide our attention, to multitask, to think ahead. But Buddhism invites you to do the opposite, to return home to yourself. Presence does not require a special environment. It does not require silence or solitude. It requires only awareness. You can practice presence while washing dishes, listening to someone speak, or watching the sky change colors at sunset. Many people fear being present because they think they will encounter regret or sadness. But presence does not ask you to analyze the past or predict the future. It asks you to simply experience what is happening now. And often, what is happening now is far gentler than the stories the mind creates. After 60, presence helps you stop measuring life in years and start measuring it in moments. A single peaceful moment, fully lived, holds more meaning than a week spent worrying. When you are present, time no longer feels like it is running out. It feels complete. Try this gentle practice each day. Pause for one full breath. Feel the air enter your body. Feel it leave. Say quietly, "I am here." This small reminder anchors you in reality. Over time, presence becomes natural. You stop living in memory and imagination, and you begin living in truth. Time is not something you lose when you age. Time is something you experience more deeply when you are present. And presence is the greatest way to use your remaining time wisely. Lesson 4. Accept impermanence. Make peace with change instead of fighting it. Everything changes. This is not a flaw in life. It is its nature. Buddhism calls this truth impermanence. And while we understand this intellectually, many people resist it emotionally, especially as they age. After 60, change becomes more visible. The body changes, energy shifts, roles fall away, people come and go. And if you resist these changes, time begins to feel cruel. But if you accept them, time becomes gentle. Impermanence does not mean life is unstable. It means life is alive. Nothing is meant to stay the same forever. Not youth, not strength, not even difficulty. When you cling to how things used to be, you suffer twice. Once from the change itself, and again from resisting it. The Buddha taught that suffering is not caused by change, but by attachment to what is already gone. After 60, you are invited into a new relationship with change. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin to ask, "How can I flow with this?" Flow does not mean giving up. It means no longer fighting reality. It means meeting life as it is, not as you wish it were. Think of life as a river. You are not meant to control its direction. You are meant to learn how to float. When you fight the current, you exhaust yourself. When you trust the movement, you conserve your strength. Impermanence teaches you where to place your energy, on awareness, not control. Aging often brings grief, for lost abilities, lost roles, lost versions of yourself. Buddhism does not ask you to deny this grief. It asks you to observe it with kindness, to say, this too is changing. Even grief is impermanent. It rises, it falls, and it transforms. When you accept impermanence, gratitude naturally follows. You stop saying, I used to be able to do this, and begin saying, I am grateful I can still do this. Gratitude anchors you in what remains instead of what has passed. It teaches you to honor the present without comparison. Impermanence also frees you from fear. When you understand that everything changes, you stop demanding permanence from temporary things. You stop expecting people to stay the same. You stop expecting your body to behave like it once did. You stop expecting life to follow a fixed script. And in that release, peace appears. A simple practice can help. When you notice change, whether pleasant or painful, say quietly, this is the nature of all things. These words soften resistance. They remind you that you are not failing at life, you are participating in it. After 60, impermanence becomes a teacher, not an enemy. It teaches you to cherish moments, to let go gracefully, to live without clinging. And when you stop clinging, time stops feeling like something that is being taken from you. It becomes something you are fully living. Lesson 5. Use your time to cultivate gratitude and simple joy. As time becomes more precious, Buddhism gently redirects your attention away from striving and toward appreciating. After 60, joy no longer needs to be chased. It needs to be noticed. Many people spend their earlier years believing happiness will arrive later, when responsibilities ease, when goals are achieved, when life becomes simpler. But when later finally arrives, the habit of striving often remains. Buddhism offers a different path. Happiness is not found in what you add to life, but in how deeply you receive it. Gratitude is not a reaction to perfect circumstances. It is a way of seeing. It is the recognition that even within limitation, something meaningful remains. After 60, gratitude becomes an anchor. It steadies the mind when the body changes. It softens the heart when losses accumulate. It reminds you that life is still offering gifts, even if they arrive quietly. The Buddha taught that suffering does not come from having little, but from overlooking what is already here. When the mind is trained to seek what is missing, time feels scarce and heavy. But when the mind learns to appreciate what is present, time feels full. Gratitude transforms ordinary moments into sacred ones. A warm cup of tea becomes comfort. A familiar routine becomes stability. A quiet afternoon becomes peace. Simple joy does not require excitement or novelty. In Buddhism, there is a deep joy that arises from contentment. This joy is steady. It does not rise and fall dramatically. It does not depend on circumstances being perfect. It comes from being at ease with what is. After 60, this kind of joy becomes more valuable than stimulation. Loud happiness fades quickly. Quiet joy stays. Many people mistakenly believe that aging means joy diminishes. In truth, joy changes its form. It becomes subtler, softer, more rooted. It no longer announces itself. It waits to be noticed. Gratitude is how you notice it. Each day offers small moments that are easy to overlook. The comfort of your breath, the sound of morning birds, the feeling of sitting without urgency. These moments do not demand your attention, they invite it. When you begin to notice them, life slows down. Time feels less like something slipping away and more like something gently unfolding. A helpful practice is to begin and end your day with appreciation. In the morning, before thinking of tasks or concerns, acknowledge one thing you are grateful for. Not something grand, something simple. Being awake, having shelter, feeling the day begin. In the evening, reflect on 3 small moments that brought ease. This trains the mind to see abundance where it once saw lack. Gratitude also releases comparison. After 60, comparison becomes especially harmful. You may compare your health to others, your energy to your past, your life path to what you imagined it would be. Comparison steals the present and replaces it with judgment. Gratitude returns you to reality. It reminds you that your life does not need to look like anyone else's to be meaningful. In Buddhism, purpose in later life is not defined by productivity. It is defined by presence. You do not need to contribute through effort alone. You contribute through awareness, kindness, and calm. When you live with gratitude, you become easier to be around. Your presence becomes soothing. Your time becomes generous without being exhausting. Gratitude also deepens compassion. When you appreciate your own life as it is, you become less reactive toward others. You listen more. You judge less. You speak gently. This is how gratitude extends beyond the self and becomes a gift to the world. After 60, time is no longer about accumulation. It is about appreciation. You may not control how much time remains, but you can control how fully you inhabit it. A grateful heart uses time wisely, not by filling it, but by honoring it. Simple joy does not demand more years. It only asks for awareness in the years you have. When you cultivate gratitude, even limited time becomes rich. Even ordinary days become meaningful, and life, just as it is, becomes enough. Lesson 6. Let compassion be how you use your time. Your legacy is how you made others feel. As life moves into its later chapters, a quiet question often arises, even if it is never spoken aloud. What will remain of me? After 60, this question becomes less about accomplishments and more about meaning. Buddhism offers a gentle and grounding answer. What remains is not what you owned, achieved, or accumulated. What remains is how people felt in your presence. Your true legacy is compassion. Compassion is not a dramatic act. It does not require grand gestures or recognition. In Buddhism, compassion is the natural response of a heart that understands suffering, its own and that of others. It is the ability to meet people without judgment, to respond without harshness, and to offer presence without expectation. After 60, compassion becomes one of the most skillful ways to use your remaining time. When you are younger, life often revolves around building, striving, and proving. Time is spent chasing outcomes. In later life, Buddhism invites a shift from outcomes to impact. Not impact measured by productivity, but by presence. You may speak fewer words now, but your words carry more weight. you may do less, but what you offer comes from wisdom rather than urgency. Compassion begins with how you treat yourself. Many people become gentler with others as they age, yet strangely more critical toward themselves. You may replay past mistakes, judge your body, or measure your life against an imagined ideal. Buddhism teaches that self-compassion is not indulgence, it is clarity. You cannot offer genuine kindness to others while being cruel to yourself. Ask yourself gently, would I speak to someone I love the way I speak to myself? If the answer is no, then compassion is needed inward first. You did not live your life with perfect knowledge. You made decisions with the awareness you had at the time. Every version of you was learning. Every step, even the painful ones, shaped the wisdom you carry now. Forgiving yourself is not forgetting the past. It is releasing the burden of punishing yourself for it. The Buddha taught that you are worthy of love and care simply because you exist. This truth becomes especially important after 60, when society often measures value by usefulness or productivity. Buddhism rejects this entirely. Your worth does not diminish with age. In fact, your capacity for compassion often deepens because you have known loss, disappointment, love, and resilience. You understand what it means to struggle, and that understanding is powerful. Compassion also transforms how you relate to others. As time becomes limited, you may notice less patience for conflict, gossip, or unnecessary tension. This is not withdrawal, it is wisdom. You begin to realize that being right is less important than being kind. Winning an argument costs time and peace. Offering understanding preserves both. A simple Buddhist practice can guide your interactions. When you meet someone, whether a loved one, a stranger, or someone difficult, silently remind yourself, just like me, this person wants to be happy. Just like me, this person experiences suffering. Just like me, this person is doing the best they can. This reflection softens the heart. It dissolves barriers. It turns irritation into empathy. Compassion does not mean accepting harmful behavior or abandoning boundaries. It means responding without hatred. It means choosing calm over reaction. After 60, boundaries and compassion often work together. You learn to protect your peace without closing your heart. You can step back without becoming bitter. You can say no without resentment. One of the most meaningful ways to use your time now is through presence. Sitting with someone who feels lonely, listening without interrupting, offering reassurance without trying to fix everything. In a world that rushes and distracts, your calm attention becomes a gift. People may not remember your advice, but they will remember how safe they felt around you. Compassion also shapes how you move through ordinary moments. A patient tone in conversation, a warm smile to someone who looks tired, a gentle word instead of silence. These small actions require little time, yet their impact can be lasting. Buddhism teaches that no act of compassion is wasted. Even if it goes unnoticed, it changes something within you. As you age, you may realize that your influence is quieter than it once was, but it is no less significant. Wisdom does not announce itself. It radiates. When you embody compassion, you become a steady presence in the lives of others. You show that life does not have to harden with age. It can soften. Your legacy is not something you leave behind someday. It is something you live every day. It is in how you treat yourself when you are alone. It is in how you speak when no one is watching. It is in how you choose understanding over judgment, patience over anger, kindness over control. Time is limited. This truth is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to clarify what matters, and what matters in the end is not how much you did, but how deeply you cared. Compassion is how you use your time wisely. It is how your life continues to touch others long after moments pass. When your time is guided by compassion, nothing is wasted. Even quiet days carry meaning. Even simple interactions become sacred. And as you continue forward, you can do so knowing that your presence has softened the world in ways you may never fully see. This is the wisdom of aging. This is the gift of Buddhist understanding. And this is how time, even when limited, becomes infinite in value. As we come to the end of this reflection, remember that aging is not a closing door, but a deepening awareness of what truly matters. Your time is precious, and when used with presence, gratitude, and compassion, it becomes a source of peace rather than fear. Carry these Buddhist lessons gently into your days and allow them to guide you toward a quieter, wiser way of living. If this wisdom resonated with you, consider subscribing to Mindfulness for more teachings that nurture calm, clarity, and inner balance. Thank you for listening. May you live gently, stay present, and use your time wisely.